headlines. Now, Dredge Masters, contractors responsible for desilting a 7.5-kilometer stretch of the Odaw drain, say activities of squatters along the banks of the drain is affecting work. According to Operations Officer of Dredge Masters, Bernard Amo, the defiant occupants and squatters return to the buffer areas after they are evicted and their activities pollute the drains. He's been given some updates on the dredging exercise started in April.
Same story, just a different day. Close to an hour of rains and some residents here at Asylum Down in Accra have their homes and shops submerged. This is a part of Accra, Asylum Down, around the Christian Methodist school to be precise, where anytime it rains, floodwaters take over people's homes. And here in this compound, individuals are scooping floodwaters out of their rooms, their properties, essentially washed away. And as you can see in the background, a man in his mid-60s is attempting to clear out floodwaters from this particular compound. Residents tell me this is a situation they have to endure anytime it rains. As many as 10 homes along this stretch were affected. These residents were helping themselves clear up the debris. Mauko has been living here for years and he tells JoyNews they are tired of complaining.
Oh, almost like 50 years now.
So he's saying that anytime it rains, this area gets flooded. People have to scoop flood waters from their homes. Mini G solution for the flooding problem area. So he says the big drain is unable to accommodate all the flood waters anytime it rains, and that is why the water spills over and takes over people's homes and properties. On the Medina-Accra highway around the Shangri-La Hotel, a fallen tree held up traffic for several minutes. Meanwhile, the Okonglo area was also flooded as always. Vehicles had to slow down considerably to be able to drive through the flood. And this is not a pool or the beach side, but this is the middle of the road. And drivers say or complain that this situation has existed for several years, and efforts to get authorities to fix this particular problem have yielded zero results. And so you can see the vehicles, whenever it rains, this is what vehicles have to go through. They wade through the flood waters here, and sometimes it causes a lot of gridlock on this stretch. These drivers want something done about the situation.
The whole stretch of the Odaw Lagoon is about 7.5 kilometers stretch. When we started, we sectionalized the whole stretch into 8 sessions. Thus, we have the Avenue section, we have the Vodafone section, we have the Chisco section, we have the Sequence, the Agbogloshi, the Klep, we have the Upper Lagoon, we have the Lower Lagoon, and also the CDB drain. So when we started, the silt level or the depth of silt in each of these sections, at some portion you realize about more than 1 meter of silt in the drain. The whole stretch is heavily silted with restricted flow. When there's low tide, the sea goes back. When there's high tide, the sea brings water into the drain, and it moves from the sea up to this section. It happens twice in the day. So during low tide, the flow is very, very restricted. So when we started, we put 2 machines, 2 excavators at Avenue. We put one behind Vodafone, that's 1 short boom. We put 1 short boom here, and we also put 1 long boom and 1 water master. Water master is the one in the drain now. And from here, I can say, since we started 8th April, we've dredged about around 20,000 cubic meter of material from the drain. You can see from the banks of the drain, we've stockpiled at the banks of the drain, which we've been cutting or we've been moving every night so that it will not affect traffic. so far.
The work done so far, is that possibly the reason why the drain didn't overflow?
Yeah, I would say yes, because before, you see, when the silt, every silt in the drain, it reduces the capacity of the drain. But when you remove the silts are removed, it increases the capacity, the flow of the hydrological flow of the drain. So that was the main reason why the drain did not overflow.
And how close are we to finishing, exhausting the entire 7.5?
You see, our major aim is to prevent disaster and flooding. So that is our concentration now. So that's what we are concentrating on, to make sure that we prevent flooding. So that's what we are doing. Currently, we are working in the Odaw from Avenor to the CDBD and into the lower lagoon. That's what we are working on now.
Now, what would you have to tell residents or people, squatters and people around the banks who are notorious for dumping refuse in the drains, etc.?
You see, it's a problem. It's something that we've been engaging them not to dump into the drain. And even before we started the project, the squatters along the banks of the drain have been removed about 3 occasions, but still they keep on coming. When you remove right now, you move away, they use the same structures that you demolish to build, to erect another structure. So I think the government has to come in and talk to them, or government has to prepare.
Now, that's a report put together by my colleague Komla Adum after some hours of rain here in Accra yesterday. The president is expected to tour some flood-prone areas here in Accra. We'll let you know when he does that and what details come out of it. And also, he is currently, the president, signing the assent or given assent to the RTI law, and that's happening behind closed doors. We'll be bringing you more updates on that during our midday news. Also, expect an update on some staff of the Office of the Special Prosecutor who've been cited for stealing fuel. We've got latest on that also for you on the midday news. But for News Desk, that'll be it. I really appreciate your company this morning. If you missed any part of the show, do well to visit our YouTube page, and you can watch the entire show there. You can also get news updates on myjoyonline.com. Now, during our first discussion, I mentioned that former Black Stars midfielder Neo Datelamte would join the conversation on Asamoah Gyan's retirement from the national team. We were not able to reach him on the line. He had agreed to join the conversation. But once we're able to reach him, we'll let you know what his thoughts are. But for now, it's goodbye from me and the entire team. Up next is JoyNews Interactive. To stay.